Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the PSGL F1 German Grand Prix. We had some technical issues which may have been with the game or some of the drivers' internet, but we are having a restart of the race. Charlie was not happy with the rain, I guess. So we're going to go from there. But the stream of qualifying will be available as well, so I will split those up to avoid any confusion if you want to watch the replay back. So yeah, a very good qualifying session that was for the Toro Rosso team. But Lickle, I think he did a great job just splitting the Toro Rossos there. So I'm going to just share the link once again with PSGL. It's always unfortunate when this happens. So yeah, bear with us for this, and apologies for the interrupted coverage. Right. Just waiting for invites, and then we will go there. Yeah, good one, Epic Gamer. That is pretty much what it would be. We should be restarting shortly. I think all the drivers are back in the lobby. We will obviously not have a qualifying session because we've already had that. So the custom grid will be made, and then we will go straight back into the race. I wonder that they might switch off the formation lap. I'm not sure. Just to get us going as quickly as possible. But yeah, apologies for the delay, but we should be underway with some exciting PSGL F1 action. So if I go quiet momentarily, it's because I'm just typing. I'm not very good at multitasking on these streams. I'm getting better. Also, I need to rename this as well. Right. Well, we've got 19 drivers in the lobby, so I think we are going very shortly. Well, while we're waiting, I just want to ask you guys a few things. First of all, the intros that I do before the races, what do you think? Do you like the graphics? Is the mic and sound volume? Because I had some problems with at France last week, so I just want some feedback whether that's better now, because my voice was a bit drowned out last week. Looks like the lobby is beginning to load up again. We should be underway soon. And your predictions for the top three for the race. Get commenting. Always like to see a lot of chat. And hopefully most of the audience will return. And here we go then. The countdown has begun in the lobby. We are about to go racing at Hockenheim. And if you want to ask a question, just put Ask Venom hashtag in the chat. And also, yes or no, will Leon get points today? I think everyone, given Leon's problems in the league this season, some of the bad luck he's had, they'll be really hoping that he gets points. I think it will be an unbelievable celebration over at Sauber if that happens. And it looks like there's plenty of support for Leon to get points, so that will buoy him up for sure. I believe the weather should be set the same as it was, so it will start as a heavy rain race on that basis. Now, whether the rain will clear, I don't know. I don't know more than that. Right, so we're loaded up again. Let's get to trackside. And we have a prediction from Brady, Blizzard, Lickle, Mitch for the top 3. That's quite a reasonable one. I mean, we've had 5 different winners, but there's still plenty of drivers I feel can win a race this season. Michemery is one of them. I mean, Lickle Blocks, potentially, if luck goes his way. Lewis, of course, the reigning champion. Ash Best. You know, it's a pretty packed grid. And, you know, maybe on their day, you know, Leon, Ugi Azim, Abiodun. I think you could have easily. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I think if things go in a different direction, you could easily have 11 different winners this season because it's a short enough season, and I think there's enough quality in the league to see 11 different winners. I mean, it's unlikely, of course. So we're going to get another formation lap. Charlie's happy for us to go racing, even though the rain is heavier than last time. So Blizzard, I wonder what he'll be thinking. False start, will that have put him off his game a little bit? Who knows? So Blizzard. P1, Lickle P2, KB Killer P3, Lewis in 4th, Michemery 5th, AMS 6th, Leon Abiodun, Falcon and Leefindlay making up the top 10. Now Falcon, don't forget, is a reserve for this league, but you know, given his performances, he's really putting himself in contention to earning a permanent seat. And given that QPR Beasts left the league, there is a spot available at Renault, and I think Cliffy would definitely appreciate a teammate because they're slightly compromised in the Constructors' Championship with only 1 car running at the moment. Gaming the Best disqualified. Now this will actually give a bit of an advantage for some of the drivers, because now those in the top 10 who actually were using dry setups in quali, they'll now be able to use, you know, fully wet setups. So that could really be a saver for some of those. And of course, Gaming the Best and Hamilton back, so they can load setups as well. So I think, in a way, even though we've had a delay, it may prove to be better for the race as a whole. But of course, those outside the top 10 who lost time because they're running 4 wet setups, they won't be happy that those in the top 10 who clearly didn't can now, you know, be on even terms with them. But there's a long way to go. It's 34 laps of the Hockenheim ring. We've seen some fantastic races here in the past of PSGL, and indeed this week in the other leagues. Will we get another great race before we head to Hungary next week? Now, the grid forms up. Blizzard versus Lickle on the top 2. I think we're going to get it this time. Please can the lights go reds? That's all I want to see. Here we are then. 5 red lights and we are finally going to be go here at Hockenheim. Lights out of it. Oh, KB Killer jumps the start. KB Killer's jumped the start and takes the lead from Blizzard. Whether that was a desync, I'm not sure, but KB Killer, it's an absolute disaster for him. Anything going on at the back of the field as I keep switching back. I think a few drivers have gone off. Ash Best has gone off at the back. And look at that. Abiodun diving down the inside of Leon. Let's go back to the front. The Toro Rosso is going side by side. I think that might be orchestrated if KB Killer's in communication about that jump start. But what a disaster once again for KB Killer. Didn't see any incidents at the back, but I'm sure there were, because there were lots of change of position. Gaming the Best has only gained a few positions. Big C, Ash Best, it's been a disastrous start for them, and unfortunately for CCBRAIN, it's been a terrible start for the German. Here comes Lewis, he's up to third already. He's going to go for a late lunge down the inside of the Toro Rosso. The reigning champion is making moves forward. He's not going to give up this title battle fight. Oh, he slides and he goes round the outside into the end of Sector 2. A brilliant move from Lewis to move up to P2 as they fly through turn 12 and into the Sachs curve for the first time. Just behind is KB Killer, who's going to have to peel off in the pit, so Little Blocks doesn't have to do anything. KB Killer has to pit within 3 laps or he will be disqualified. Meanwhile behind, oh, Little Blocks going wide and Michemery behind, and KB Killer goes into pits, and it's going to be so painful. He's going to lose so much time. It's just such a shame. Leon is still in the points at the moment. It's going to get, so he will be hoping. And oh, and Blizzard gets a massive moment, and he loses the lead to Lewis. Lewis takes the lead of the German Grand Prix. A huge moment, and Game of the Best is out of the race. No points again for Game of the Best. The Chinese race winner is out of the race. Blizzard making a mistake out of the North curve, and he's coming back at Lewis. He has much more straight line speed, which is clear to me that he's running a more dry setup still. But Lewis leads the race, and if it finishes like this, he will be the 6th different winner of the season. But Blizzard is coming back at Lewis, and the top 2 are leaving Little Blocks over 1.5 seconds behind already. So these are the top 2 heading out into the end of Sector 2. No DRS, of course. So at the moment, your top 10 is Lewis, Blizzard, Little Blocks, Michemery, AMS, Falcon, Abiodun, Maxi Luca, Leon, and Sambamkid. The sole running Williams. But we're going to keep an eye then. At some point on lap 3, we'll see who the winners and losers are from the opening lap. But no safety car then. Lewis getting a little bit out of shape out of the final corner. That allows Blizzard to get slightly closer. As Lewis sets the fastest lap of the race. Here they go then. Through the North curve they go. Blizzard, understandably, taking it more cautiously this time because he nearly went straight off the track early on. And meanwhile behind, Little Blocks is under pressure from Michemery. But we're going to carry on with this battle for the lead. And Lewis gets out of shape, and that's going to compromise his traction. Here comes Blizzard. Lewis goes to the inside to cover off the Toro Rosso driver. Michemery right behind. It's Chan Chan. Look in the background. The Red Bull driver going for it. Blizzard side by side with Lewis. Lewis will have the inside. Where is Michemery? Michemery has got past. Little Blocks behind. Side by side they go again, and Blizzard gets the better traction and retakes the lead of the race. Can Lewis come back at him? It's a long way to go, so he doesn't want to... Oh, Blizzard goes really deep. Will that allow Lewis to come back at him? Let's find out. Through the end of Sector 2 they go. Let's get up some of the position changes here. Lewis and Michemery gaining 2 respectively. 6 gained for Cliffy from the back of the grid. Hamilton has gained 3. Sambam and Ugi have gained 4 as well. Big loser, KB Killer, with that drive-through penalty, has lost 12 positions. It's 2.4 seconds of Hamilton. He's going to have to rely on a safety car or some strategic magic to get back into the points, you would think. As Blizzard then starts to put the pace down a little bit. Into the 125s we are going. I wonder if that's an indication that the rain's starting to ease off. Let's look down the order then. Let's have a look at AMS, because AMS seems to be surrounded by a few cars. Bit of a train forming here behind Little Blocks. He's already out of I keep saying DRS range. There's no DRS, of course, so I don't need to keep saying that. So at the moment, Leefindlay on his debut in PSGL F1 is in 13th. Falcon is getting very close then to the back of the other Ferrari. Oh, he goes right, then left. Oh, and he's accidentally shoved Maxi off. That was a bit clumsy. Maxi, in the end, not losing any positions somehow. But Abiodun's going to try and come back at him. I think Falcon almost didn't see he was there. Yeah, clumsy driving from Falcon. If he simply didn't see him, he went right, he then went left, then came back across. It may not have seen Maxi and just knocked him off. So at the moment, the 2 McLarens running well off pace. Oh, Abiodun! Look at that spectacular slide out of turn 12 and then into the Sachs corner he goes. So Blizzard now has nearly a second advantage to Lewis. So really, at the moment, Lickleblock's holding up a bit of a queue of a train. So it goes from Lickle down to Sambamkid, all within a second of each other as Blizzard continues to set a really decent pace. You know, Lewis is keeping it honest. He's probably only a couple of tenths a lap slower. Yeah, really taking that North curve slowly at the moment. So Ash Best must have been caught up in some contact because he pitted on lap 1 for a wing change. Now, I didn't mention it until now, but my normal commentary partner, CTI's Demons, actually now the lead commentator on F2. So when you've done watching this race, go check out his channel to watch the replay there. So, heading into the hairpin again. It's looking like a really strong result for Ferrari at the moment, 2nd and 5th. That would put them up to, as it stands, that would put them up to 3rd in the standings. And perhaps even 2nd actually, because both McLarens are out of the top at the moment. So any overtakes going on here. Sambamkid's quite close to the back of Leon. So Leon in the points. I think everyone will have their fingers crossed he can stay there. Such a long way to go. This is going to be a real mental test if this rain goes for the most of the race. KB Killer has actually closed significantly onto the back of CSR Hamilton, so he's looking to get back into P14. And after that, it's Leefindlay, Oogie, Azim, and Cliffy to get back into the points. And Sambam, of course. As Sambam really struggles for traction out of the final corner. No one really close to each other at the moment, just in terms of overtakes. Don't see any action here. Now tyre wear. Not sure how badly these grooved wet tyres grain. Dry tyres, the ultra softs grain off pretty quickly, but the softs and mediums are pretty good. But the top 3 are showing much more pace than the rest. But AMS just keeping a watching brief to see if Lickleblock's makes anything. Lickleblock's maybe running a full dry setup. That may explain his lack of pace at the moment, but it may come back to him later. So AMS in 5th, Falcon in 6th, Maxi Luca in 7th, Abiodun in 8th. Leon dropping further back from the top 8. Sambamkid right behind him. One of the closest battles on track at the moment. Let's carry on with the Williams driver. Currently running in P10. Didn't score in France last week. And it's also got Cliffy right behind as well. Cliffy is known for decent wet weather pace. So he'll be looking to take advantage of any mistakes. Michemery then pits. Has Michemery had contact somewhere? It's just a wing change for Michemery. Peels off to the pits. No, it's not. It's for Inters. And Cliffy is in, Falcon's in as well. So clearly they think it's ready for Inter running. So that's very interesting indeed. Let's put the tyres on so we can compare their times. AMS currently in P4, chasing down Lickleblock's. Let's go to Cliffy though, because Cliffy looks a bit closer. Nope, not at the moment. Here comes Sambamkid. He's got a bit of a toe on Leon. Go for a lunge down at the hairpin. Is he going to go for it? Yes, it's almost half going for it. Yes, he's going for it. Slight contact between the two. Sambam he was almost half-hearted at first, and then he was like, no, I'm going to go for it in the end. And actually, in the end, there was a bit of contact, but no damage done. So Sambam using Leon as a bit of a buffer to get around that corner, but he gets the place anyway. Although Sambam getting really raggedy out of the following corners, and again, snap of oversteer ahead, but he keeps it on track, keeps that up. He's going to fly off the track, runs wide, but no, he gets away with it. Just check Michemery's sector times. He's 1.7 seconds behind KB Killer. Is he closing the gap? Blizzard sets another fast lap at 1:25.303. Lewis pits then from 2nd place. And that will be for the Inters, surely? Indeed it is. It's a short pit lane here. Michemery is closing the gap to KB Killer, but not that rapidly. And look at that Sambam going miles off the track. It was almost in a different region of Germany. That's how wide he was. Meanwhile, behind, Leefindlay, locking both front tyres, but just about getting the car slowed down. And Lewis has got out ahead of Michemery. Ugeazim struggling for traction. Here comes Leefindlay. This will be a nice moment for the debuting Mercedes driver to get an overtake on one of the most experienced drivers in PSGL F1, Ugeazim, a former two-time winner at this track. Can Lee get the move done? Goes in the corner, gets a nice apex, and that is a very nice job there. So we've got Lewis and Michemery and Falcon and KB Killer on the inters. Is Lewis getting close enough to overtake some cars? Blizzard may just feel like he'll stay out a little bit longer because Lewis is going to get stuck in traffic. Even if he is quicker, slightly quicker than the wet runners, he's going to have a bit of traffic to deal with. Let's see what Blizzard does. Blizzard's heading for the end of the lap. Let's see if Blizzard will peel off into the pits for instance. No, he will carry on. Let's keep an eye on Lewis's progress because he is the highest running into runner. And look at that, he's getting caught. Slower moving cars ahead, and that's going to be costing him a lot of time. So the inters, I mean, it's still a lot of spray coming off the car ahead. And look at that, Ugeazim nearly missing the entry completely. Now Lewis is going to get stuck behind Hamilton for at least another corner. And yet Hamilton doesn't do a great job of that corner. Lewis with better grip on these inters. Is he going to go for a move down the inside? Yes, he is. Hamilton's going to fight it. But I think Lewis is going to get the job done, and he does. So now he will give chase. Oh, and a snap of oversteer once again from the Ferrari. Let's go up ahead because there's action going on. AMS and Maxi Luca fighting. That's going to cost some time. It's a 7-second gap between Blizzard and Liquor at the moment. And meanwhile behind, Cliffy has just overtaken. Yellow's in sector 1. Side by side, Leon and Cliffy go. And there's Yellow's in sector 2. But we're going to keep an eye on this battle. Cliffy and Leon dueling here at Germany. And they tap wheels again. And that's going to allow Leefindlay to close the gap to both of them. Cliffy's going to get the move done, and he does. Great overtake from Cliffy. Leon fought him really hard, but couldn't quite get the job done. Lewis is catching these three quickly, but he has lost time. See the gap to leader. So Lewis is 18 seconds behind Blizzard. That's pretty much what a pit stop is here. So it's borderline. Blizzard carries on. I wonder if Blizzard's thinking about going a bit further into the race and trying to see if it dries out. Nico is pitted then. And he will come out behind Michemery. Might even come out behind Falcon as well. No, I don't think he will actually. Let's look at the intervals again. So Lewis has caught up already to this train of cars, but this is a dangerous moment for him. AMS once again defending. Lewis unable to pass. Not close enough. Oh, and look how deep the Sauber Leon goes. Nearly collects Lewis as he rejoins onto the racing line, but Lewis wisely getting a good job there. Hamilton is being overtaken by Michemery behind. Here comes the Michemery. There you go. Job done. P10 for the Red Bull driver. So this is a critical moment for Lewis. He's clearly got the better tyres at the moment. But he's getting stuck in traffic once again in Sector 3. It's horrible for Lewis. He's losing probably a second of time here. Here comes Lewis. This is not normally an overtaking area, but he's got no choice. He's got to go for these moves. Leon down to P9. Surely some of these cars up ahead will be pitting. But they're going to keep going. Maxi Luca and AMS pit. Abiodun up to second. Yellow's in sector 2 and 3. Here comes Lewis. Oh, Lewis taps the back of Leefindlay, and that's not going to help his cause. That would have lost him a bit of time. Will that compromise him? No, Leon is not close enough to challenge him. But someone who certainly is to Leon is Michemery. Here he comes. Michemery's going to look for a move down the inside of the hairpin. Can he get it slowed down? He can, and look at that up ahead. Leefindlay goes really deep into the hairpin. That will give Lewis a run on him. I think Michemery's got the move done. Here comes Lewis. Can he get past the Mercedes of Leefindlay? Not for the time being. Yellow's in sector 3. KB Killer is out of the race. That's your second retirement. Well, what an absolute disaster. it has been for KB Killer the last 2 races. The British Grand Prix winner, once again, is not going to score anything. And it all started from that jump start. We don't know if that was a literal mistake or if it was a desync of some kind. But either way, his luck's got to change. And look at that. That's the Renault of Cliffy pulling off into the pits. Leefindlay got no grip coming out of the final corner, but I don't think Lewis is going to be able to go for it here. Leefindlay actually does a pretty decent job turn 1, but he still comes out slower. Lewis has got to get this move done soon because Michemery is rapidly catching him. Will we get a safety car for that retirement from KB Killer? No, because that would really help Sambamkid and Blizzard. Well, perhaps Blizzard more. So I think at the moment, Lewis is just in the pit window for Blizzard. Just behind Michemery, taking Leefindlay for 4th place. So it's clear to me that the Inters are the tyres to be on. Lickle is in 7th. So in terms of where Lickle is, I think he's in a net, I would say P4. Because Leon, Findlay and Sambamkid have to pit at some point. It's definitely not dry enough. Yellow's in sector 2. Oh no, what's happened to Leon? Something's happened to Leon. Won't show me what's happened to him. Oh, what's happened to Leon? Leon's had an off somewhere and he's down to P11. Oh no, that's not what you want to see. Blizzard pits then. So this is the crucial moment. Here comes Blizzard. It's going to be for the Inters, obviously. But where's he going to be? Where's Lewis? Lewis comes out of the final corner. He's got Michemery breathing down his neck. This is going to be mighty close. There's Blizzard on the right. It's going to be side by side. Lewis gets out in front of Blizzard. Where's Michemery? Michemery's going to go for a move down the inside of Blizzard. They make contact. 5-second penalty for Leon. Oh, and Michemery's been forced off by Blizzard. Oh, that could be a controversial moment. Blizzard swiping back at Michemery. That might have been a racing incident. We'll have to find out later on. But Blizzard stayed out on those tyres a bit too long. But we don't know if it's going to be inter conditions or dry later on in the race. So if it's inters for the rest of the race, Blizzard will have an advantage on fresh tyres, but he's got to use them now. Michemery, I don't think we'll be very happy about that. And Leon has picked up a bunch of penalties. A stop go and a 3-second penalty. So when he pits again, I just don't think Leon, unless it's a safety car or more retirements, I think the chance of getting points is probably gone now. CCBRAIN in his home Grand Prix, 22 seconds behind P15. But for the home crowd, the other German Abiodun is in the points at the moment. So Blizzard now was undercut by Lewis. Despite the time Lewis lost in the traffic, he's still able to get ahead of Blizzard. Imagine if he had clear track, he would have had a huge advantage. So Blizzard trying to... Oh, Blizzard running wide. Michemery not close enough. So the top 4 kind of settling down at the moment. I think Lewis and Blizzard may be battling each other fairly soon. A few penalties being picked up by some of the drivers. Falcon, the F1 reserve, in a fine P5 at the moment. Just want to have a quick look at Maxi Luca. Is Maxi Luca closer? Yeah, fairly close to the back of him, but not close enough to pass. A few notable drivers outside the top 10. Big C, Ugiazine, look like they're about to go into combat. Ugiazine not quite close enough for the time being. So the story of this race at the moment is that Lewis is leading from Blizzard, the reigning champion versus the current championship leader. Michemery not able to live with the pace of the top 2 at the moment. Not sure if he got damage or scrub tyres from going off onto the grass just then. Nickel Block's currently in a solid P4. Just under a second ahead of Falcon. Maxi Luca similar gap behind in P6. Then we've got AMS Abiodun, Cliffy and Sambamkid making up the top 10. With Blizzard showing a bit more wet pace at the moment, although didn't do a good job with the knocker just then. Let's see, can he... Looked like early on in the race he had more straight line speed on this back straight. So here comes Blizzard. trying to get a toe from the back of that Ferrari. He is getting closer. He's going to have to bide his time. He's only done 2 laps on these inter tyres. Lewis has done 7. As you can see behind, there's a lot of activity going on behind. No one quite close enough yet. It's kind of calmed down a little bit, but I think we're about to get a battle between these two for the lead. Blizzard looks to have a bit more pace in the west at the moment. But his car, it looks a lot more twitchy. I don't think he has as much downforce as a Ferrari ahead. So you get the sense if Blizzard were to make any sort of mistake, the car would be leaving the circuit in a hurry. So maximum concentration is required. We're not far from half distance here then at the Hockenheim ring. Michemery continuing to drop a lot of time to the top 2, but he's still got a big gap. Lewis and Blizzard exchanging fastest laps of the race. They seem to be the class of the field at the moment. Let's just get the telemetry up a bit. Here we go. Let's compare battery. Yeah, Blizzard has significantly more. Put it up into mode 5. Lewis gets a poor exit onto the parabolica. Now he's going to have to defend for sure. Here comes Blizzard. Lewis goes to the left, goes to the right. He's trying to weave kind of subtly to put Blizzard off on his braking. Tries to get the switch back, but no, Lewis comes off the apex well. But who's going to get the better traction here? Lewis is going to have to try and cover it off, and he does. Here comes Blizzard. Can he go for a move into the next corner here? Yellow's in sector 1 and sector 2. So at the moment, job done for Lewis. He's maintained a position for the time being, but this is a battle that is shaping up very nicely. Got over 40 people watching at the moment, so thank you very much. Keep chatting away, and if you've got any questions, I'll try and answer them during the race. But hashtag AskVenom. Here comes Blizzard then. Through sector 3 they go. Fantastic camera work by the director as we get the best view of these two drivers who are pulling away at a rapid rate of knots from Michemery. It's quite static in the rest of the field. Don't think I've seen any changes in position. So we're just going to keep focusing on this battle until either something happens here or one of the other battles gets a little closer. But Ashbesh P17. Lap 1 incident really compromising him. Now Blizzard once again not quite as close as the previous lap. Leefindlay's really building up penalties. Can Blizzard go for a late lunge to the inside? No, he's not going to go for it this time. He wasn't as close as he was on the previous lap. Let's have a quick look behind, see if there's any close action going on. AMS currently in P7, and here comes Blizzard again, really close to the back of that Ferrari. Don't forget he's got 5 lap younger tyres, and that may be a factor if it doesn't dry quickly enough. Lewis really struggling for rear traction there, and oh, Leon is out of the race, sector 3. Will that cause a safety car? Yellow's in sector 1 as well. Oh dear, that is such a shame. Leon once again, 6 races into the season, no points. His luck has to surely change at some point. I can only feel for him. He's a really, really good driver, but he just, in this league at least, it just isn't working out for him. Michemery picks up a 3-second time penalty, which just compounds the frustration he must be feeling at the moment that he just can't keep up with the top 2 pace. Could be that moment where he dived down the inside Blizzard, and then they made contact again coming onto the parabolic, and he went on the grass. He's just not been able to do it since, oh, Blizzard runs wide again. That's going to compromise his speed. He's still gaining and gaining on the Ferrari ahead. Still no safety car, so much for the patch, which says there'll be a lot more safety cars. Oh, Blizzard nearly smashing into the back of that Ferrari. Just about, but he goes so deep, so he's not going to get a run this time into turns 7 and 8. Unless, of course, Lewis goes deep into this corner. Falcon's getting very close to Liquor Blocks as well, so this is a battle to keep an eye on. But we'll go straight back to Blizzard. And as you can see, Lewis using battery. It's not too much between them in terms of battery use. So Lewis clearly putting you know, in Sector 3, especially in a wet race, it's best to put the battery all the way down to the lowest setting just to regain it back. Because a lot of the track is full throttle. Over half the track's full throttle. Lewis actually set a fastest lap of the race there. Faster than Blizzard, who couldn't respond. I think it was a slightly scrappy lap. Falcon pits. What's Falcon up to? Let's just have a quick look. Just want to see, is he going on to dries? Or is it another set of no, another set of inters. So straight back to Blizzard. And it was a slightly scrappy looking exit from Lewis, and this is about as close as he's been the whole race. Lewis trying to cover off Blizzard. The inside will not be available, the outside will be. They're going to go lay on the brakes. Oh, I think Lewis has gone deep. He's gone really deep. Here comes Blizzard. I think Blizzard's going to have a really good run. Can Lewis come back at him down the inside at turn 8? Blizzard covers the inside. Blizzard, I thought he almost covered it a bit too much, but actually got the car slow down nicely. So Blizzard retakes the lead then of the German Grand Prix on lap 19. Lewis just went a bit too deep into the hairpin, and that's what cost him. Didn't have any traction coming out. So now the next phase of the race begins. Will we get dry running by the end of the lap? Because the difference here could be timing your pit stop to perfection. We've now got a 5.6 second advantage to Michemery. Might check him in a minute to see if he's got any damage. Doesn't look like he does. I think he's just not got the pace in these conditions at the moment. Falcon pitting, I'm not sure why he pitted. Didn't look like he had damage. He's now in P12. That's promoted Leefindlay back into the top 10, but he's got a lot of penalties, so he probably wouldn't stay there. So Lewis, though, he's on course for a second podium in a row, his third of the season. So even if he only finishes P3 in the end, P2, sorry, it'll still be a really good result. But he wants to win badly. Blizzard on course to become the first double winner of the race, but we've still got a lot of laps to go before we find out that. Meanwhile, behind, Maxi Luca has closed right onto the back of Liquor Blocks, and actually both of these drivers are closing up onto Michemery as well, so there may be a three-way battle for the podium. This, at the moment, P5 would represent the best result of the season for Maxi Luca. I'm just going to refer what his previous best result was this season. He's not had many good ones. In fact, his best result was 8th. He picks up a penalty as I say that, but you know, even finishing 6th or 7th would be his best result of the season. It's been a good drive from the Haas driver so far, and that result would, of course, put Haas onto double figures for the season. So that would be good for them. And Blizzard sets the fastest lap of the race. Lewis is still in striking distance. We know what the difference he made. Now, if we get dry conditions, it's going to be interesting. What tyre to choose? I think at this point, if it were to dry out, it would be the soft tyre to pick. I think the mediums, not sure. The softs would go to the end of the race from here. As Falcon sets the fast lap of the race, so that's the value of fresh rubber. Let's have a look at Maxi Luca. Oh, Maxi Luca getting very close now to the Sauber Liquor Blocks. This could be an attack for P4. Would he go for a late lunge? Maxi Luca is known for making some reckless overtaking manoeuvres, but that was actually sensible. It wasn't quite close enough, but he's putting pressure on Liquor all the time. Sometimes you'll get a move done without actually doing the overtake. You'll just pressure the guy in front into going deep at the hairpin, then you pick up the place easily. And that's maybe what Maxi Luca's thinking about. Maxi Luca's got slightly fresher tyres than Liquor Blocks ahead of him. Abiodun is close onto the back of AMS as well, so the German crowd at least have something to shout about, with CCBRAIN down in P15, the other German runner here at Hockenheim. And Leefindlay, though, is under pressure now in P11, so I might have a look at that shortly. Just want to see what happens in the last few corners here. There you go, coming out of the corner. Maxi Luca, how close can he get now? Liquor Blocks now 1.6 seconds behind Michemery. You can visibly see these two are catching the Red Bull. Just going to carry on with this for a few more moments. Hamilton and Falcon trying to get past Leefindlay for P10. They're going to keep an eye on this for a few moments. We'll see what happens here, because Maxi Luca is even closer now. Littleblocks has surely got to cover the inside, but he's not going to. This is going to be a sweeping overtake for Maxi Luca, so all Maxi Luca now has to do is get the car slowed down and he will have the position. And he does, yes he does, and that's job done. So Leefindlay now under threat now. Falcon's actually got past Hamilton, previous corner. So while one Haas makes a move, another has lost the place. Down to P12 goes CSR Hamilton, who had a very bizarre incident in France last week. It looked like, on his viewpoint, he'd been hit by something, and then on the viewpoint of the other driver, he literally just flew off the track for no apparent reason. It was a very strange incident, that. But Hamilton outside of the points at the moment. Falcon has much fresher tyres than Lee, so he'll pass him, I think, if it carries on like this, and then you'll have to give chase to the Williams of Sambamkid, who's currently 6 seconds behind Cliffy in P9. They're still on for points. But look, the rain is easing off. Will we get dry running before the end of the race? Because that could be another twist in the tail here. And Blizzard has no penalties at the moment, but if he picks up one penalty, very easy to do here, as Leefindlay picks up yet another penalty. Cutting turn one, not the only one who's done that. Leefindlay covers the inside. Look at that. Falcon using the fresh rubber, going to try and take around the outside. Great late braking from Falcon, and up to P10 he goes. That was a really nice move, but he did go a bit deep, heading into the Parabolica, so that will allow Leefindlay to come back in. Falcon will cover the inside, really covering it, almost going off the track. But look at that, he leaves a gap open. Here comes Lee back. Can he get the car slowed down? Yes, he does. Well, in two corners, we've seen two fantastic overtaking manoeuvres. Firstly from Falcon in turn 4, and then into the hairpin. Leefindlay braving it out, not giving up the place despite all the penalties he's got. Falcon will be a bit frustrated that he had the inside covered, but then he left the door slightly ajar, and Falcon losing the place as a result, and that's all allowing Hamilton to keep in touch and Sambamkid to get a bit further up the road. So we'll carry on with this battle. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. So Falcon will have to try again. Bit of a slide by Leefindlay up ahead. Visibly less spray on the track. And Maxi Lucas now within 1.1 seconds of Michemery. I wonder if Michemery... I can only assume it's damage, or maybe he's just got a full dry setup. They both run wide though. Not ideal for Falcon, but no. Hamilton nowhere near close enough to take advantage of any mistake like that. So now Falcon decided not to go for a move this time. I think he's going to build up his battery and go for an attack here on the straight, although it's not a great exit out of turn 4. Can he get close to Lee? AMS and Abiodun having a battle ahead. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. We'll see a late lunge from Falcon. We will not. Oh, we will! Well, the move was never on, so I'm not sure why he even bothered turning into the Mercedes there. Risked wing damage, but Leefindlay keeps the place. Let's have a look at Abiodun then, having a battle with AMS. The battle for P6. Lap 24 then of this race. Ashpex picks up yet another time penalty. What a nightmare of a race it's been for the former PSGL F1 champion. I mean, at this point, he may have to write off this season in terms of winning the championship and focus on, you know, a campaign for next season. Because any chance for him winning the championship looks pretty remote at this point, with only 5 races to go after this one at Germany. Abiodun does a good job of turn 1, just about keeps it on the road. Just go behind to Falcons. Is he closer? Oh, Lee goes really wide. Here comes Falcon. Lee will cover the inside. He's going to have to do the late braking manoeuvre again. Just want to have a quick look at Abiodun. Is Abiodun close to the back of the Ferrari? Not quite close enough. Back to Falcon. Falcon and Lee going at it again. Now Falcon just got to hold his nerve and just cover the inside just to prevent anything happening. But he's left the door open again. Here comes Lee again. Down the inside goes Lee. He's going to try and squeeze him out on the outside. But this time, Falcon is there alongside. But look at that. Better traction from the Mercedes driver. Where is Falcon? Here comes Hamilton trying to get in on the act. He's left the door open once again. And Lee, he may not have the pace of the leaders, but he is showing some real heart out there. He's clearly slower than Falcon behind, but he is not giving this up without a fight. And that is always great to see. But look at this. We're going to switch our attention to Maxi Luca, who's right on the back of Michemery. Maxi Luca is in the battle for a podium here. And the rain has stopped here. Maxi Luca dives to the outside. And Michemery, I think, just let him pass. There's clearly something wrong with Michemery. Oh, is that a puncher or Michemery? It is, look. Rear right puncher for Michemery. Oh, my goodness. 19 laps he's done on those. Oh, Michemery, huge off. Huge off. Oh, dearie me. So that was why he was going so slow. He was struggling with tyre wear. So Michemery off the podium. That promotes Maxi Luca into third. But that was a huge, scary moment for Michemery when he finally lost control of the car. Blizzard then in first. The track is drying out. And as the track dries out, the tyre wear amplifies. And look at that. Softs. Softs for Sambamkid. Ultra softs for Big C. Leefindlay. Oh, he's struggling as well. They're all struggling. All of a sudden, Blizzard's carried on. Oh, that's a call from Toro Rosso. That is a call. Lewis pits them from P2. It's soft tyres. CCBRAIN has retired. And now we reach critical moment. Oh, can Blizzard... Oh, Blizzard struggling. Oh, I thought, oh wow, I thought that was about to... Liquid Blocks is up to third. Maxi Luca up to second. They've carried on. Well, this is a crucial moment. Let's get the gap to leader as Lewis comes out. He's 19 seconds. So if the track doesn't dry out, Blizzard can pit and come back out in front of him. It is clearly going to be dry running very shortly. But this race is shaping up to be a very exciting conclusion. And I think Ash Best has just been lapped, actually, by the race leader. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But, you know, I think he got caught up in an instant somewhere. But Blizzard now... Where is Blizzard? Lewis picks up a time penalty. Well, that will be good news for Blizzard. Blizzard then heading through the final sector. So what's Blizzard going to do? Does he have enough tyre life to go on the ultras maybe? Here comes Blizzard. Is he going to pit? No, he's going to carry on. He's going to carry on for another lap. Don't know how quick Lewis's sector times are. Well, he's actually lost a lot of time, actually. He's now 23 seconds behind the race leader. So Maxi Luca pits, as does Liquid Blocks. AMS will carry on. Oh, there's a lot of gambling going on out here now. The track looks pretty bone dry now. So Maxi Luca and Liquid pit, which means Lewis will get back out in front of them. Goes into the hairpin, gets the car. DRS enabled. So who's got it right? Who's got it wrong? We're going to find out in the next half a lap. So Blizzard will try and get the car slowed down. He's got a pit stop in hand on Lewis at the moment, but he could easily lose a lot of time in the final sector. Still on these inters. Lewis isn't really catching up though. Have a look at Lewis. Lewis through the hairpin. I think Blizzard will have this, and I think he's actually got not too many laps. He could even go on the ultras, you know. Blizzard surely is going to be pitting now. Indeed he does. Trying to get the car slowed down. Oh, that was really struggling there. AMS. So Lewis... I think Blizzard's on just enough, but we're about to find out. It's going to be soft tyres. Oh, he's held in the pits. Or maybe that might have been lag, actually. Lewis rounds the final corner, but Blizzard's already exiting the pits. Fastest lap of the race for Lewis, but he did it one lap too early, I think. And with that 3-second time penalty, I think it's going to be really difficult for him. Maxi Luca in third, Liquid Blocks in fourth, AMS in fifth. Oh, he's just pitted actually. Falcon as well. Cliffy, a 1:27.66. The times are only getting quicker now, and there's a back marker up ahead. Surely we're not going to get an Ocon style incident. Oh my goodness! Ash Best moving late in the braking. I think that's Ash Best. It is. Ash Best gets out of the way. I think. I don't think that was intentional. I think he just didn't think Blizzard was quite close enough. But you know, it didn't really hurt Blizzard much because he's still 4.8 seconds ahead. Everybody on dry tyres then. Lewis on second tyres. But can he be caught by Maxi Luca? Because look, Maxi Luca is on tyres that inferior, 2 steps up. So Maxi Luca and Lickleblock's pace compared to Lewis, it's going to be mighty if they can keep the tyres to the end. Sambamkid picks up 3.75. So you're top 10 at the moment then. Blizzard, Lewis, Maxi Luca, Lickleblocks, AMS, Abiodun, Cliffy, Falcon, Leefindlay, and CSR Hamilton. So Leefindlay clearly lost a lot of time in the transition because he's now behind Falcon. Ash Best picks up yet another time penalty. I dread to think how many penalties he's got, but look, Maxi Luca is rapidly catching up to Lewis. You can see the Ferrari just going through turn 2. So Lewis, don't think he's going to win this race today with that time penalty, but he may not even finish on the podium if he's not careful. Both McLarens out of the pit lane at the moment. I'm just going to have a look at CSR Hamilton, because CSR Hamilton now chasing down a 1:16.191. But this is going to be surely a no contest between these two. Soft tyres versus ultra softs. And Hamilton sweeps around the outside of Leefindlay, and given the penalties Leefindlay has, I don't think Leefindlay will even finish in the points. But look, Lee once again, he likes to fight. Yet again, look at that straight line speed. But coming back at him, Hamilton down the inside. Maxi Luca picks up another time penalty, and that may actually deny Maxi from getting the second place. But it's Dream Street for Blizzard at the moment. Can Leefindlay come back at Hamilton? He's going to go for a late lunge. He likes these lunges, doesn't he? But there is a bit of... there's certainly skill to them. He's not just throwing it in there and hoping for the best. He's making considered choices, but just didn't have the tyres to do it. 2.8 seconds then, the gap between Maxi Luca and Lewis. Leefindlay will probably have another car to worry about shortly, and that will be Big C. These ultra softs don't last long. They will burn off very quickly, especially if you're racing wheel to wheel like this. But you got to feel for Michemery. He was on for a podium, but he just couldn't make those tyres last long enough. Was one of the first to pit for the Inters, then he got that puncher, and then he just flew off at the Parabolica. He was probably lucky to stay in the race, to be honest. Maxi Luca not actually getting any closer to Lewis at the moment. Any other battles going on? Let's have a look at Sambamkid, who's right behind Big C actually. And right behind him is Michemery, who actually may have half a chance of getting back into the points, but he's going to have to get a move on. So we may have some good action here in the midfield. There's been some great action here. I mean, especially the battle between Falcon and Leefindlay for me was the highlight of the race. That was great stuff. There's big gaps in the top 8, so I think we're going to stick with the midfield action. And there we go, Big C getting all out of shape as we head into the end of Sector 2. Then the sweeping turn 12, but look out for Michemery. Michemery's right there. He's got much better tyres than Sambamkid. Oh, Michemery spins it at the Sachs corner. Oh, and that's the chance of points gone, surely. A 1:12.902. These fastest laps are just going to rapidly come down. And that completes the day for Michemery, doesn't it? And he goes into the pits and he is retiring. Or maybe getting another set of ultras, but how frustrating. It's been a bad day for Red Bull. Ugi Zima, former 2-time winner of this race, is nowhere. Back to Leefindlay then. He may have not the ultra softs, but he's not giving up a point. He's had so many penalties, but even so, he's given us plenty of entertainment. Now Leefindlay is going to have a look. He goes back to the inside. My goodness, now that was an absolutely brilliant move from Leefindlay. Once again, he sold the dummy, and Hamilton bought it, hook, line and sinker, and he got the car slowed down. But here comes Hamilton again, gets forced out. I mean, yes, he's not fighting for the lead or anything, but this has been an impressive debut from Leefindlay, entertainment-wise. Big C and Sambamkid fighting for position behind. Sambamkid gets ahead. It's almost a shame Lee's not going to finish in the points because of the penalties he's got, because he definitely deserves one for the sort of racing he's given us today. So penultimate lap then of the race. Blizzard is on his way to what would be the first double win of the season and taking a commanding lead of the championship. Game of the Best and Big C both out of the points. The nearest rival to him, who's actually in the points, is Cliffy. Although I think Lewis will actually be closer because obviously he's in second place. But even so, he's going to be well over 15 points ahead, I think, in the standings. But well, they will be confirmed after the race, of course. So Blizzard carries on. Let's go back to Hamilton. Hamilton, and once again Hamilton and Leefindlay. Hamilton goes too deep, and Leefindlay says thank you very much and takes back the place. Fantastic stuff. Leefindlay going all out of shape out turn 7. Sambamkid, I think, is just behind them. I don't know what Hamilton's penalties are like, but Leefindlay goes way off the track. Must be running on adrenaline right now. The last lap of the race then begins. This is your closest battle on track. So Lewis looks settled in P2. Maxi Luca, now I'm not sure actually. Maxi Luca has 6 seconds of penalties, I think. As for Lickle Blocks, I think he's got 3 seconds. So actually, oh, look at that. Lee going miles wide, and that's going to compromise his speed. This is going to allow Hamilton to come back at him. Look how much speed they're taking through the Norco. It's so different to the wet conditions. They can now throw the car into the first corner and hope they don't take too much speed and spin off the track. So now Hamilton, this is his last chance. Oh, Lewis picks up another time penalty. But that shouldn't hurt him because Maxi had 6. But here, Lee's going to cover the inside. Now can Hamilton get it slowed down? But great defending again from Leefindlay, late on the brakes. And now Sambamkid's going to sneak through. And Blizzard's won the race actually. And Lewis will pick up P2. I didn't think he was so close actually. Where's Maxi Luca going to finish? Will Lickle get the final podium position? Here we go. He does. Lickle gets the final podium position. So a great run there from Lickle Blocks. And that is his first podium of the season. Great result for Sauber. We'll go on board then with Blizzard. Do apologise for missing that. But Blizzard, what a result for him. The crowd here at Germany. And a 5-second penalty for Falcon for an unserved stop go. That might affect his final position. Leefindlay finishes P9, but he's not going to finish there. Sambamkid picks up a point. Big C, no, he's well down. But Blizzard had a really tough battle with Lewis. But in the end, he had a bit more speed at the critical times to do it. Lewis actually finishing 12 seconds behind in the end because of penalties. Ugazim retires before he even finishes. And that is that. Well, that was a thoroughly entertaining race here at Hockenheim. Even if most of the battle towards the end wasn't for the lead. But some very notable results there. None more so than this man. VSR Blizzard takes his 2nd victory in a row. And with Game of the Best and Big C not scoring points, he's taken a huge lead in the championship. Although, I think with that result, is there any other changes? No, I think Lewis will move up to 4th in the championship. Actually, might even be 3rd in the championship, the reigning champion. So there's still a long way to go. Still got 5 races of the season to go. So here is your provisional result then for the PSGL F1 German Grand Prix. Blizzard, it was a pole position and the race win once again, and no penalties. So a really perfect day for him. Lewis in 2nd, may not have been the win he wanted, but it's another solid result for the Ferrari driver. Lickle Blocks in 3rd, Maxi Luca in 4th, AMS in 5th, Abiodun in 6th, Cliffy in 7th, and Falcon, both Renaults in the points. Hamilton in 9th, Sambamkid in 10th, a good point for Leefindlay. Had too many penalties in the end, but he did give us some great overtakes, didn't he? That'll be in the highlight reel for sure. Big C in 12th, Michemery in 13th, Ugazim in 14th, Ashbess in 15th. I think Ugazim was classified because it was on the last lap. But yeah, for some of the PSGL F1's big guns, it's been a dreadful day. An absolutely dreadful day. But no question though, in terms of driver of the day, well, there's several candidates, but I think it's hard to look beyond Blizzard really. Once again, pole position and the race victory. He looks like the man to beat in PSGL F1 at the moment. becoming the first double winner of the season. Well, if you enjoyed that race, please leave a like, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. The only place to watch PSGL F1 each week. And next time out, it will be a very different circuit. We are going not far from Germany to the Hungaroring in Hungary for the PSGL F1 Hungarian Grand Prix. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.